The next bill, which is House Bill 250, Defining Life and the Rights of Natural Persons, sponsored by Mr. Speaker. Welcome, Mr. Speaker. Good morning.
Good morning, committee. It's good to be here with you.
Please present your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Committee, thank you for the opportunity to be able to present this. I think this is something that, as in the battle to try to protect life and that right that we have in our Constitution to that right to life. One of the key parts of this is, as I've dealt with other litigation and am currently in other, transitional between courts and trying to establish the right to life and the protection of the rights of the unborn, is always seem to fall back to personhood. And when does life begin? What is a person and what defines that? I do believe this piece of legislation that I bring before you today, House Bill 250, helps and works towards that definition and that end. If you would, please, I'll take you through the bill and then we'll discuss, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. Defining life and the rights of natural persons, an act relating to statutes and rules of construction, specifying definitions and rules of construction for the term person and what a person would be defined as, making conforming amendments. So if we go back, we can skip on over to page 2 of the bill. As used in the statutes, unless the legislature clearly specifies a different meaning or interpretation for the context clearly requires a different meaning. Currently, person includes an individual, partnership, corporation, joint stock company, or any other association or entity, public or private. And then we change and add, when applicable to an individual, the interpretation and construction specified in Wyoming Statute 81103 shall apply to this definition. And we go on in 81103, rules of construction of statutes for purposes of interpretation and construction under the Wyoming Constitution and all statutes of this state, the following shall apply. And individual persons are living human beings entitled to protection for their health. This right is a fundamental right entitled to full protection under the Wyoming Constitution. When applicable to the individual person, in quotes, is someone who possesses at least one of the following. And many of the discussions that I've had is like, okay, well then what is a life? Let's say if that life of a child is developing in the womb and it doesn't have a brain, but it has a brain stem. Is that life? Can it exist? Is that life going to be able to be something that's protected? Could that cause, the conversation that's come to me is, could that cause a doctor to be in liability if he was to perform that abortion or find that out, or if that child was to be delivered? What were the responsibilities of the hospital to provide, means of care or anything like that? What this is an effort to try to do is to say, these are the defining points and they must have these things in order to be defined as a person. They must have heart function, respiratory system function, central nervous system function, brain function, skeletal development or function, joint or muscle appendage development. All these go down through organ function. No parent, guardian, or legal representative of any other person shall make healthcare decisions causing harm to the function specified in paragraph Romanet I of this subsection, except as necessary when medically documented as a necessity to save the life of the mother. Going on to the last page, to save life of a pregnant woman, and except for the discontinuation of medical treatment or care that keeps a person alive where a doctor has documented that there is no chance of a meaningful recovery, all exception determination under this paragraph shall be evaluated by the Wyoming Board of Medicine. Definitions, rules, and construction specified in this subsection shall apply to the Wyoming Healthcare Decisions Act. Specifically, the child, and what we're defining here as we go on, specifically, the child has a right not to have his or her life terminated. And that's what I believe the basis or the foundation of this is, determining what a human being is and what is life and what are the rights that are inherent in that life. And that's been a lot of to me, ladies and gentlemen, the discussion has been, that's a glob of cells. That's until it breathes air on its own, I've actually been told it's not human. Literally in testimony, unless it can fill its lungs with air, it is not human. I would have to beg to differ. And if you go even to the point where you would say those cells, when those cells unite, what else would come of that union except a human being if left to come to full fruition. I mean, honestly, if we're going to look at it as just something we don't know, a fish, could it become a lamb? Could it become a bird? No, it's going to become a human being, unique in every way, separate DNA entirely. A unique individual, unto of itself, only one like it in the world. In creation, human. And so that is what this is an attempt to do, is to provide rights to that unborn life in that body that are the same rights that each one of us, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy right now. We have the right to be protected if we're attacked. We have the right to be able to live free and to be able to pursue happiness. But how does that right and where does that right begin? Do we determine a cutoff line and say, okay, well, when you draw a breath, then your rights begin? Or that when you're developing and you are a human being, you're just at a different stage of that development, but no less human. And so that's the question we have. And and there's a part of this, as I did a little studying on this, what is human? And if you look under Wyoming statute number 6.2104, it clearly defines that if there's an accident and a woman that has a child is injured in an accident or killed, and that child is killed, and it doesn't distinguish gestation length. If it was done without premeditation, they consider that as a homicide of the child, the unborn child. So already in our statutes, we have language that determines that that is a human being that is going to be considered in the judgment. If it was if it was non-premeditated, 20 years. If it was premeditated and the person that took the life of that mother knew that she was pregnant, and it doesn't determine gestation length, it just says that she was pregnant. What is pregnancy then? Pregnancy is the joining and the conception of the child, that she's pregnant. 40 years, if you knew it. What I believe this piece of legislation is making an effort to do is to do a better job of defining and to try to put that in print. And to be able to say that that person is a person if they carry these things. And to be able to try to identify and define personhood so that we can actually in our laws say that they have those rights that all of us enjoy, that are breathing, that are walking, that are talking, that are here. You know, there's some discussion out there that says, well, viability. To me, when I look at viability, I have grandkids. You know what? My week-old grandchild is he viable? Can he maintain his life on his own? He needs help. He needs support. He's not sustainable. Can a 2-year-old, are they viable? Okay, well then back down inside of that. Okay, no, that little tiny fetus, that baby, that whatever you want, zygote, whatever that you want to use to define a term of development, are they viable? Well, if left alone and to develop, yes, they are. They will grow and they will develop into a human being, much like and very similar to and exactly like the body I stand before today. And interestingly, no two of you look alike. You're unique individuals created at that point. And I believe that all of us need that opportunity to have that definition of what humanity is, to have them and be able to enjoy those protections. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would try to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.